some teachers that wanted me to go to simple meditation or to this meditation or to that meditation, it started having labels. And then I had to belong to this group and follow that teacher with that master with those rules. And I said, this is dogmatic. So I was pushing away or trying to stay away from the dogma of Catholicism in general, respecting my living but questioning and asking questions about spirit, where I said God is everywhere and therefore God is within me, right? So I can tap and speak to God without having to be in a church. I could also honor him or her or both, because in my opinion God is both. God is everything. So I said I'm going to honor it in any church that I go to respect, but I'm also going to honor it on my own. So I started in the morning and I never counted. It was always, I ended up like 15, 20 minutes and it worked half an hour. I did it consistently for 3 years and it worked a lot because it helped me become a little bit about the observer.
Yes, the observer.
And that way I wasn't reacting. And I did it together in my side of my little corner of the room with my ex in the other side of the corner. Oh. The minute that we separated, I made the mistake of stopping Yvonne.
Oh.
But
that's where we learn.
I was using meditation instead of recognizing that it was the skill that helped me stay in peace. I was relating to it in a way that I was auto-sabotaging myself.
Yes.
Because I decided as a victim to give it meaning that that's what I used to do with him, therefore I was going to reject it. Hey, I used to exercise with him and I didn't reject exercise. So it was my own
smart
excuse. And when I stopped, I started going back immediately to my old patterns. And as Dr. Joe says, to my familiar past.
Yeah,
and
to the familiar
that was a point of no return where I ended up sick. And I collapsed. One day I used to run away from myself. How? By becoming a workaholic. So because I have the privilege of doing what I love and promoting our country and Cancun and the Mexican Caribbean.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
I used to travel a lot, but what I was doing, Yvonne, is I was
running away. Getting busy, doing the hustle with no sense.
Exactly.
Getting the hustle until, in futuring, that's called the bright future. The bright future is the hustle, the millions, the Photoshop, the planes, everything. But at the end of the night, you end up with a diagnosis, a heart attack, a heart divorce, or the people
or
that
all
you
of
love.
the above.
Or all of the above, A, B, C,
exactly.
And all of the above and more. That's true. So, and actually in futuring, it's better to be in the dark than in the dim or the bright, because the dim or the bright.
I love the dark.
You are. Tim Grover will love you for what you just said.
I go in the blackness.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm trying to stay more in the blackness. But at the beginning, your instinct tells you to find the light at the end of the tunnel until you realize that it is in the blackness where you create. It is in the blackness where you tap more into
that. Because that's the white canvas that people don't know. That's where the future is created. We gotta create more things from this, because now I want to keep going. So I love that you just said that meditation, you made the mistake, and I love how much you owned it, that you stopped. I've done that many times, that I stopped things because we add meaning. That's the thing. Is this person, is they want this, or we want to be nice, but it's the meaning we give. It's like we're not taking responsibility for that, and we gotta let go of all of that. It's an act of self-love to let go and let people go too, right? So we can do what is right. And so, but that muscle was there. It's like being on a bike, right? It's like being on a bike, because once you get back to it, it's like,
I don't want to leave it ever.
Yes.
And in fact, I never thought that I could meditate for 4 hours.
No one thinks that. And if anybody tells you I'm a natural meditator, they're lying.
And the day that I did it, I was like, wow. And if I naturally wake up, that's what I do automatically. It doesn't matter the time. When I wake up, that's what I do now, Yvonne. That is my non-negotiable. In fact, I could not exercise, but I must meditate.
Oh, good. I
It
love
is my
that.
non-negotiable.
We'll do that. We'll do a list of non-negotiables. I have some non-negotiables too, and I'm about to implement a little bit more. So we went to the meditation, how important it is, and I hope people get how important it is not to be in the victim and the, oh, poor me, I'm sorry, all of that. It's just a waste of time too. You go to the past.
And not only that, but one thing that's very important that I learned, and if this helps your audience, is, and this was something that Dr. Joe taught us, is there is no such thing as a bad meditation.
Mic drop for Dr. Joe. Dr. Joe, we love you.
Yes, we do. Because
we love you.
I've seen people from all walks of life.
That's true. There's no bad meditation.
From different experiences of meditating, even leaders that are part of this meditation that I cannot even pronounce from India, and this meditation, and they believe that the only way you meditate is with X amount of mantras
time or
this.
breathing.
And if that's good for them, that's fine. But at the end of the day, it is not about evangelization of my way versus your way. It's about becoming familiar with. And that's what we're doing. We're becoming familiar with. And if something arrives in the meditation, through breathing, I just let it pass by. And if I stop and I get distracted and I go to the past, or I'm thinking of what I'm supposed to do, through breathing, I get back and I'm into it. And just the fact that I am in my meditation and I was aware that I left and came back, that already is a victory.
That's very powerful. Actually, the Buddhists have a meditation called Vipassana. That's their training. Like if a thought comes, they said, just return to the breath. And if you feel an anger, feel the anger, acknowledge it's there, and return to the breath. There's always a return. The breath is the most powerful meditation. We like God, the Great Spirit, installed in us. Here, there goes your lifesaver. Your breath. It will help you get calm. It will help you take action. It will help you breathe. It will help you live. It will help you get higher. And I love that there's no bad meditation. I want people to know, that it's, even if you have a struggle when you are sitting down and thousands of thoughts come, that's the meditation. That's what was meant to happen, because it's a flush. Gong Fu Cha, she didn't see it because, we are using our time right now wisely. But the first cup I serve always, no one drinks it. Is I rinse the leaves, I serve the cup, and then I offer it to the plants or offer it to earth. Because it represents we're going to wash away, we're going to leave the past. This first rinse, whatever we came with into this moment, we're going to let it go.
Wow.
So the next pour, one day we'll do all the pours.
I want more of this.
Yes. So we'll do, maybe we'll do a retreat one day with this. But the second cup is we serve each other, and it's for our mind. It's for like, hey, I'm here. Mind, you're being served. Isti, you're okay. So we'll calm the mind, right? We'll trick the mind into, this is what we're doing. The third cup is for the heart.
Oh.
And then you can go on, and it just becomes actually, and the tea has high theanine. You can get tea drunk.
Really?
Oh my goodness! You should see me after 2 hours sitting in this is a tea meditation table.
Wow!
But I do want to see, and I'll pour while you share a little bit more water, so we have more tea excitement, more tea chings. There's no bad meditation, and you. As soon as you I love what you said, because your body language was like catching the thought and training each thought to be present. I trained for many years also with Byron Katie, which is she wrote a book called Loving What Is, and she had a school called The Work, which is inquiry of the mind, right? And in that school, they teach you like each thought has a right to exist. She used to say, every single thought is like a little child. They just need attention. Give the attention to each child with the breath. Like, I got you. And so the thoughts begin to calm down, because the observer that you mentioned begins to be there, and it's like the parent, and the children begin to behave.
Of course.
So it's very
and
powerful.
you are now instructing the mind that you are going to stay here in this meditation. So they better.
I love this podcast.
I love it.
This is my favorite, and I love you all that have been in the podcast. But now I sound like Ed Milet. This is my favorite podcast.
Because it's the one we are in right now.
Yes. Give me 5 and 4 and 7 and 1. So tell me about the breathing, because I know you practice like religiously, well, without the label, Wim Hof.
Yes.
I love Wim. You know, I was able to be in a group with Jess Sitzler, Build Your Life Resume Community, and he brought Wim Hof for all of us, and we were in the ice baths and everything. So tell us about that. Tell us how you use the breath. It's a little bit about everything, this podcast, but really at the end, you're going to see how everything is matching into the present moment.
Well, my other non-negotiable is to become aware of my breath every day, because we normally breathe very shallow and we take for granted what you so elegantly said a while ago about the breath.
Yes.
But the truth is that the first thing we do in the morning is, wow.
Powerful.
Thank you. Thank you. One more day. Woo, I'm alive. And then that being grateful, and then just
I can hear
realizing
the Wim Hof breath.
the deep breath. So what I learned through the life of Wim Hof, as an example, he did not plan to be a celebrity. He did not plan to have 26 record Guinness. That was just his way of dealing and coping with the
pain.
loss.
Yeah, with the loss.
However, he found in ice a circumstance that helped them be here and now instantly. He had become a yogi. They wanted him in the monasteries. He was so good at it that they wanted him to stay. And he said, I have 4 children. I can't stay with you meditating all day for the rest of my life. And I'm not going to abandon my 4 children. So he came back. And what I love about the method is he built the method so that the method stays. It's not about Wim.
Yes.
It's not about the Iceman. And every time the narrative goes back to who you are, he's like, I'm 62 years old. I'm not going to do any more records. The science is there to prove. And the method is really a mission. And what they want is they want everyone to realize that by tapping in through breath, we have the capacity to not live precisely in the sympathetic system all the time, in the fight or flight, because your body can only be there 4 or 5% of the time. If not, your cortisol is high. These all autoimmune diseases are there, and they were all created by us. We cannot blame anyone. They're created by us. So the way that we can stop them is by becoming alkaline on our own, first through breath, then we could add all the nutrition that you know about it. You're more than an expert on it, but basically it's to alkalinize my body, and through breath to also help be present. So what I do is I meditate, and then I go into my breathing cycle. If I have time, I'll do 4 cycles. If
4 cycles.
I do 2. It depends. And when I have challenges like one that I told you about I had last week, which was
I just had one too
incredible.
This weekend.
I probably breathed 7 times, and I went into the ice for 12 minutes. The recommendation of Wim Hof is the 3 pillars. It's meditating. It is also the fact of the breath, and then it's exposure to cold. It doesn't have to be the ice. It could be your shower, and it is only 2-3 minutes. They're not asking for you to break records in the ice. There's no such thing.
75 hard asks for 5 minutes. Andy Frisell.
So if you're doing 75, don't stop and keep at it. But coming back to this, it's basically exposure. So what it did is it turns on, just like meditation as well, it turns on the parasympathetic system so that you're able to be in Zen. So you can still do the hustle of your everyday in 3D life, but you are from a place of sin. So now you're
Hustle
up here.
and sin. Hustle
you're not,
and sin.
You're not from this realm. You understand you're playing here, but you already created here, and now you're just going through the actions of the day